Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you very much for your kind association and also your patience. Let's get started with our Mangala Charan prayers. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Dhyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Etavan Sankhya Yogabhyam Swadharma Parinishthaya Janmalabha Parapumsam Ante Narayana Smriti Akama Sarvakamo Va Mokshakama Udaradhi Tivrena Bhakti Yogena Yajeta Purusham Param Ahmeva Samevagre Nanyadyat Sadasat Param Paschadam Yadetaccha Yo Vashishyeta Sosmyaham Hrityartham Yat Pratiyeta Na Pratiyeta Chatmani Tad Vidyadatmano Mayam Yatha Bhaso Yatha Tama Yatha Mahanti Bhutani Bhuteshu Chavacheshanu Pravishthani Pravishthani Tatha Teshu Natesham Etavadeva Jidnyasyam Tattva Jidnyasunatmanah Anvayavatirekhabhyam Yatsat Sarvatra Sarvada Atra Sarvo Visargascha Sthanam Poshanamutayah Manvantareshanukatha Nirodho Muktirashrayah Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So, dear devotees, I hope you are having a very Krishna conscious Bhishma Panchak. Let us get started with our study of Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 9, text number 9 onwards. Let me share my screen. So this chapter is entitled Answers by Sri Shukdev Goswami by citing the Lord's version. So we have to go to text number 9. Sri Shukdev Goswami is describing to Maharaj Parikshit how Lord Brahma underwent. We completed this verse, Ajay Govind Prabhu?
We have to start from the 9th verse, Prabhuji, I think.
All this we completed, Tapa. No difference. Krishna and Krishna's instructions.
The last we were talking about was that he's called the tapasvis, the power which the devotees are having. So Lord Brahma is controlling the 2 grades of the senses by the means of sense perception, Prabhuji. So that was the text 8 we covered up, and 9th text is the one which we have to start.
Okay. Okay. Satyarvamata, you raised your hand.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Just to say with the same thing, Prabhuji. Ajay Govind Prabhuji already said.
Okay.
Hare
So
Krishna.
this is all done. So now we start from text number 9. Tasmai swalokam Bhagavan sabhajitah Sandarshayamasa param nayat param Vyapeta sanklesha vimoha sadhvasam Swadrishtavadbhir purushairabhishtutam. Translations and purports by our beloved founder Acharya Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Ashtottara Shata Shri Srimad Abhay Charanarvind Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. Shri Shukdev Goswami is telling Maharaj Parikshit that the personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu, being thus very much satisfied with the penance, the tapasya. Remember, Brahmaji heard 2 syllables, tapa. He understood and began performing tapasya, began meditating on the Supreme Lord. And the Supreme Lord, after this very prolonged, sincere meditation of Lord Brahma, became very satisfied with Lord Brahma and was pleased to manifest his personal abode, Vaikuntha, the supreme planet above all other planets. There are the lower planets, there are the earthly planets, and there are the higher planets. But above all these planets is the spiritual planet, the spiritual world of Vaikuntha. This Vaikuntha became visible to Lord Brahma. Sandarshayamasa. Sandarsha, it became visible to Lord Brahma. Vaikuntha became visible. This transcendental abode of Lord Vishnu is adored, it is worshipped, it is respected by all self-realized persons who are free from all kinds of miseries and fear of illusory existence. Illusory existence means material existence. This bhaya and moha, one who is completely free from all the klesh and all the moha. Klesh means Adidevik klesh, Adhyatmik klesh, Adibhautik klesh. All the miseries of this material world, birth, old age, disease, death. One who is free, and one who is free from all confusion and illusion, vimoha. Such people, Purushai, Abhistutam, they do stuti. They do stuti. They glorify, they worship this Paramdham, this supreme abode, which was now visible to Brahmaji. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, the troubles of penance accepted by Lord Brahma were certainly in the line of devotional service, bhakti. Tapasya means austerity or penances, which means to voluntarily take on some inconveniences, some difficulties for some delayed attainment. Immediately there is a difficulty, but in the long run, there is a gain. Now, if this gain is sense gratification, then that tapasya is karma kanda. If the gain is liberation, then that person who undergoes tapasya is called mumukshu or muktikami. If by tapasya one wants to gain mystical powers, siddhis, then that person is called siddhikami. So bhuktikami, muktikami, siddhikami. But if one is undergoing tapasya, which means voluntary difficulties to attain something, and that something is not material enjoyment, it is not material mystic perfections, it is not liberation from matter, but it is loving devotional service to the Supreme Lord Krishna, then that type of tapasya is called bhakti. We are all supposed to practice this type of tapasya for bhakti, for devotional service to Krishna. In ISKCON, the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, in the line of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, our beloved founder Acharya, Jagat Guru Srila Abhay Charanarvind Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada, has also prescribed certain tapasya for all of us. What is that? Following the 4 regulative principles is a tapasya. Waking up early in the morning and doing Mangal Arti, Tulsi Arti, Naam Jap, this is tapasya. For certain conditioned souls, even bathing twice a day and being clean is a tapasya. Brushing teeth 2-3 times a day is a tapasya. But Srila Prabhupada has prescribed all this for us. No matter what temptation, follow the 4 regulative principles. No matter what temptation, observe Ekadashi. That's tapasya. Observe fasting on auspicious days like Janmashtami, Gaur Purnima, etc. So these are all austerities for the sake of getting service to Krishna. Radha Krishna Seva Pao Ei Abhilashi. So we also do certain tapasyas. And these tapasyas are for bhakti, in the line of bhakti. Similarly, our Sampradaya Acharya, Lord Brahma, because we are in the Brahma Gaudiya Madhva Sampradaya, Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya, Lord Brahma, who is the original Sampradaya Acharya, Lord Brahma performed tapasya in the line of bhakti, not in the line of bhukti, mukti or siddhi, for bhakti. Otherwise, there was no chance that Vaikuntha or Swalokam, Krishna's own abode, Tadhama Paramam Mama, the Lord's personal abodes, Vaikuntha Lok, would become visible to Brahmaji. Because Yanti Devartha Devan, Pitrinyanti Pitradan, Bhutani Yanti Bhuteja Madbhakta Yanti Mamapi. As we have our desires and motivations and meditations, we will get destinations according to that. So the fact that Brahmaji got darshan of Krishna's personal abode, that means he was not after Brahmajyoti. That means he was not after siddhis, and that means he was not after material enjoyment. He wanted the Supreme Lord. That is bhakti. There is undoubtedly trouble in executing tapasya, penance. Tapasya means there will be trouble, there will be inconvenience, there will be some discomfort. That is the meaning of tapasya. If it is not troublesome, that means it is not tapasya. Tapasya means tapa. Tapa means to burn, to face the heat. That is called tapasya. So if there is no heat, there is no burning, there is no pain, it is not tapasya. We cannot choose the tapasya that we want. It has to be prescribed. If it is what we want, what we choose, then it is not real tapasya, because we will choose something that is least uncomfortable. We will choose something that is least troublesome. But then that will not qualify as tapasya. Tapasya means what Krishna wants. Something that is prescribed by the higher powers, by the higher authorities. So Srila Prabhupada is saying there is undoubtedly trouble in tapasya, in executing penance. But the trouble accepted in executing bhakti yoga is transcendental happiness from the very beginning. Those who observe the 4 regulative principles, those who follow strict brahmacharya, those who eat only Krishna prasad, those who do not eat forbidden things like intoxicants, onion, garlic, meat, etc., those who don't gamble, they have a very unique bliss that they experience. Whereas someone who is not able to do it burns in guilt. One who is able to follow the four regulative principles has a certain anand or bliss that comes from the practice of dharma. Because one is situated in one's swadharma, one is situated in one's jaiva dharma, in one's constitutional nature now. The bliss of kirtan. The bliss of kirtan, Harinam Sankirtan or Harikatha, it is so indescribable. There is no payment, neither to the audience nor to the speaker. It is just selfless. And it gives such anand that it is better than watching any cricket match live. It is better than watching any blockbuster movie on the biggest screen. It is better than eating in any five-star restaurant. The simple joy of eating in a leaf plate, sitting on the floor with devotees, food that has been cooked by devotees for Krishna, food that has been offered as Naivedyam to Krishna, and food that has been served with love selflessly by the devotees of the Lord, and eaten in the association of devotees. Such a simple thing. But the joy is better than any happiness one derives from eating at the most expensive world famous restaurant. Because the tapasya that is being undertaken, or if someone does Ekadashi Vrat, there is a very unique, indescribable joy in doing that, in executing any Vrat. The satisfaction we get, the reciprocation we feel, experience from Krishna in the heart, that is called transcendental happiness. It has to be experienced. It cannot be described. You feel such a sense of happiness, such a sense of protection, such a sense of security, that it is really the greatest happiness that can be experienced by a human being. No indriya tripti, no amount of sense gratification can compare to that joy. I always like to give this example because when I read it first time in Mahabharata, it had such an impact on me. During the Kurukshetra war, when Maharaj Yudhishthir came to know that Dronacharya had arranged the Chakravyuh that particular day, or was going to arrange the Chakravyuh that particular day, with the sole objective of capturing Yudhishthir Maharaj. So that Yudhishthir Maharaj is captured and the war is over. Maharaj Yudhishthir knew that the entire army led by Dronacharya, Duryodhan, Karna, Dushasan, Jayadratha, Kripacharya, etc., etc., their one pointed aim is to attack and capture and take as a prisoner me. Yudhishthir Maharaj knew that their entire army is directed towards me today. But Yudhishthir Maharaj was not anxious. He was happy. Why? Because he had performed his morning sadhana. Srila Vyasadeva writes in Mahabharata, he woke up in the morning, he sat down in the lotus Padmasana position and meditated on Vedic mantras, chanted Vedic mantras that glorify Krishna. Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahmanya Hitaya Cha Jagadhitaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Like that mantras he was chanting, and from that glorification of Krishna, chanting Krishna Nam, he was getting such immense power. Then he took the blessings of all the Brahman Vaishnavas and he donated cows and gold and ghee. All this is Brahma Murta, early morning, before the war started. Then he performed a fire yajna where he made wonderful offerings to Lord Vishnu. And then he was ready for the battle. And he had such a bliss because he had followed his dharma. And when we follow dharma, when we protect dharma, dharma protects us. Dharmo rakshati rakshita. So there is undoubtedly trouble in tapasya, but the trouble accepted in tapasya for bhakti is a transcendental happiness from the very beginning. Susukham kartum avyayam. Kevala ananda kanda. Whereas the trouble of tapasya in other processes, Jnana Yoga for mukti, Dhyana Yoga for siddhi, or Karma Kand for bhukti, material enjoyment, without any Vaikuntha realization, ends in trouble only and nothing more. Because all those siddhis you get, Anima, Mahima, Laghima, Prapti Siddhi, whatever siddhis you get, you die, in your next life, all that is gone. You attain any material degree. You go to Ivy League University, you go to IIT, you go to AIMS, you go to IIM, you go anywhere, Harvard, Oxford University, Cambridge University. Suppose someone becomes a surgeon and then has a stroke or an accident where there is paralysis. That surgeon cannot operate. What good is your training? What good is your medical qualification? It is gone. And what after death? It's gone again. So material achievements, they can be taken away from us. Even the conception of mukti is incomplete without bhakti. It is incomplete and dangerous. One may think one is liberated, but one may not be truly liberated and one may fall down. Yanne arvindaksha vimuktamanina stvayashta bhavada vishuddha buddhaya aruya krachena param padam tata patanti adho anadradeshpadagraya. On the path of impersonal realization, there is danger. Klesha adhiktas tesha. Avyakta asakta chetasa. Those who are attached to the avyakta murti of Krishna, the impersonal form of Krishna, klesha adhik. There is too much klesh, too much trouble. And ultimately, one does not get premanand. Premanand, the bliss from loving Krishna, is millions and millions and millions of times better than Brahmananda, the joy of Brahman realization or Paramatma realization, because it is sequential. Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagwan iti shabdati. Bhagwan realization is the complete realization. On the other paths, there is a lot of trouble, but there is every chance of fall down. Saubhari Muni was doing so much tapasya, but because he was not practicing bhakti, on the contrary, he committed Vaishnava Prada to Garudji. It only ended in trouble. He fell down. He lost his brahmacharya. He lost his spiritual practices, became sexually agitated and attached to 50 wives. And the place where he was doing bhajan, that place also was destroyed by Kaliya. Vishwamitra Muni performed such tapasya. But what was the result? He got attracted by Apsara and lost his spiritual powers. So, if we are not practicing bhakti, we are living a very dangerous life and a life of unnecessary troubles. On the contrary, if we are practicing bhakti yoga, then there is no loss, there is no diminution on this path. Neha vikramanashosti pratyavayo na vidyate swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. We will be saved from the greatest fear if even alpa, little bit bhakti dharma we practice. Swalpamapyasya dharmasya, if this dharma of bhakti we practice, bhakti dharma, even little bit. First of all, it is never lost, it is never destroyed, and it has the power to protect us from the greatest fear. Example is Ajamil. In his childhood, he performed bhakti unknowingly by the mercy of the sadhus. He gave a spiritual name to his son, called his son Narayan, and he was saved. So this is the difference between bhakti and other processes. And Brahmaji is practicing bhakti. That tapasya is bhakti because it is meditation on the Supreme Lord, and therefore he got darshan of Vaikuntha. There is no profit in beating husks without grains. No profit. And other processes, karma kand, jnana kand, dhyana kand, it is like beating husks which don't have grains. It will give no result. It is like churning water to get butter. It will never come. Similarly, there is no profit in executing troublesome tapasya penances other than bhakti yoga for self-realization. It won't work. Here in the word, swa drishtavadbhihi is very significant. One who has actually realized his self, swadrishta, one who is self-realized, atma sakshatkar, one who has actually realized his self, realizes the transcendental form of one's self. What is the meaning of atma sakshatkar? What is the meaning of self-realization? Means to understand one's spiritual form, one's siddha swarup in the spiritual world. Impersonal realization of self and the Supreme is not complete. Aham Brahmasmi is partial spiritual realization. To understand that I am part of the Brahman, it is a realization, it is a step towards transcendence, but it is incomplete. Complete realization is to understand Jivara Swarubhai Krishna Nitya Das, and in particular what type of Das? Shanta, Dasya, Sakhya, Vatsalya, Madhurya. What is one's spiritual form? What is one's spiritual name? What is one's service? There are 11 such characteristics called Ekadasha Bhava. To understand them is called self-realization. The personality of Godhead, Vishnu, and the personalities of devotees of the Lord, Vaishnavas, Vishnu and Vaishnavas are all transcendental. They do not have material bodies. The material body is overcast with 5 kinds of miserable conditions, namely ignorance, material conception, attachment, hatred, and absorption. These are the 5 material miserable conditions. Ignorance means to not know things. Material conception, to have a conception on the material plane, not spiritual plane. Attachment, material attachment. Then anything that interferes with our material sense gratification, we dislike it. There is hatred. And there is complete abhinivesh, there is complete absorption in matter. These are the 5 miserable conditions of material existence. As long as one is overwhelmed by these 5 kinds of material miseries, there is no question of entering into Vaikuntha Lok. There is no question of entering Vaikuntha, Srila Prabhupada says, as long as one is materially conditioned. And the symptoms of material conditioning is having ignorance, having materialistic conceptions, having material attachment, having hatred, based on material sense gratification and having material absorption. As long as this is there, these are there, we cannot enter Vaikuntha. Text 10. Pravartate yatra rajastamastayo sattvam cha mishram na cha kala vikramaha na yatra maya kimuta pare harer anubrata yatra sura chitaha. In that personal abode that became visible to Lord Brahma, in that personal abode of the Supreme Lord Vishnu, Vaikuntha, the material modes of ignorance and passion do not prevail, nor is there any influence of mode of goodness. These three modes, Sattva, Raja, Tama, mode of goodness, passion and ignorance, do not exist in the spiritual world Vaikuntha. There is no predominance of the influence of time. This also we are seeing in Jaiva Dharma, that there is no Jadiya Kal, there is no material time in the spiritual world. There is Chit Kal. There is no time as we know it, cyclical time, past, present, future. No, it doesn't exist in the spiritual world. There is no influence of time. So what to speak of the illusory external energy? And the illusory external energy, the Bahiranga Shakti, also does not exist in Vaikuntha. It cannot enter that region of Vaikuntha. Bahiranga Shakti, Achid Shakti or Maya Shakti cannot enter Vaikuntha. Without discrimination, both the demigods and demons worship the Lord as devotees. Everyone is a devotee there. They may have been demigods previously, they may have been demons previously, but once they realize Vaikuntha, there is nothing there. There is no demon, there is no demigod in Vaikuntha. Only bhakta, only devotees, pure devotees. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, the kingdom of God or the atmosphere of Vaikuntha nature, which is called Tripad Vibhuti, is 3 times bigger than the material universes. The material universe is 1/4 and 3 times bigger is the spiritual world, Vaikuntha. This universe containing billions of stars and planets is one of the billions of such universes clustered together within the compass of the Mahat Tattva. This universe containing its billions and billions of stars and planets is just one of the billions and billions of universes clustered together in the Mahat Tattva. Mahat Tattva is a total material substance, which is like one dark cloud in the Paravyom, in the spiritual sky. And this Mahat Tattva is impregnated with jivas from Mahavishnu. So we are always in the material world, in the Mahat Tattva, in Mahavishnu, Mahat Tattva, Mahavishnu, Mahat Tattva, Mahavishnu. There is creation, there is maintenance, there is annihilation. Creation, maintenance, annihilation. But we have never gone beyond into Paravyoma, into the spiritual sky. We have never been there. Mahavishnu is at the tata of the spiritual world and the material world. Mahavishnu is completely spiritual. He is Supreme Lord. And our origin is in Mahavishnu. Whereas the Nitya Siddhas, their origin is in Mula Sankarshan, in the spiritual world. Our origin is in Karanadakshay Vishnu, Mahavishnu. So we have never been to the spiritual world. And we have been in this Mahat Tattva, which contains millions and millions of universes. And our universe, our Brahmanda of the Chaturmukh Brahma is just one such universe. There are millions and millions of such universes. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita describes like millions of mustard seeds packed up in a big bag. There are many, many Brahmandas in the Mahat Tattva. And all these millions and billions of Brahmandas, universes, combined together constitute only Ekpad, only 1/4 of the magnitude of the whole creation of the Lord. Whereas Vaikuntha is 3/4, it is Tripad Vibhuti. There is a spiritual sky also. Just like we have a material sky, there is a spiritual sky, which is beyond this material sky. Where in the spiritual sky, in the Paravyom, there are Vaikuntha planets, spiritual planets. They are all Vaikuntha planets. And all of them constitute 3/4 of the entire creation of the Lord. God's creation, Krishna's creations, are always innumerable. Ananta. Even the leaves of a tree cannot be counted by a man, nor can the hair on his head. However, foolish men are puffed up with the idea of becoming God. They think someday we'll become God. Nar will become Narayan. Not possible. Jiva cannot become Jagdish. Man may discover so many wonderful vehicles of journey, spaceships, etc., rockets, etc. But even if he reaches the moon, Srila Prabhupada is writing, by his much advertised spacecraft, he cannot remain there. It cannot be sthai, it cannot be stable. The sane man, therefore, without being puffed up, as if he were the god of the universe, abides by the instructions of the Vedic literature, which is the easiest way to acquire knowledge and transcendence. Easiest way is to become obedient to Krishna's laws. Therefore, Krishna is saying that if you listen to my instructions, it will benefit you. If you don't listen, you will be lost. What is the instruction? Anityam asukam lokam imam prapya bhajasvamam. You have come to this miserable temporary world, now worship me. So let us know through the authority of Srimad Bhagavatam of the nature and constitution of the transcendental world beyond the material sky. Srimad Bhagavatam gives us knowledge of the spiritual sky. In that sky, spiritual sky, the material qualities, especially modes of ignorance and passion, are completely absent. The mode of ignorance influences a living entity to the habit of lust and hankering. And this means that in the Vaikunthas, the living entities are free from shoka, moha, hankering, lamentation. These two things are not there. There is no hankering and there is no lust. As confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita, in the Brahma Bhuta stage of life, one becomes free from hankering and lamentation. What is the Praman? Bhagavad Gita. Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na shochati na kankshati. Samaha sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhaktim labhate param. Therefore, the conclusion is that the inhabitants of Vaikuntha planets are all Brahma Bhuta, living entities, as distinguished from the mundane creatures who have all these material afflictions, lust, material absorption, hankering, hatred. And material creatures are filled with hankering and lamentation. Hankering and lamentation. They have rag and dvesh. Rag means hankering, dvesh means hatred. They want, the raga dvesha is the tendency of material creatures. They want something, and when they don't get it, they are sorrowful. So either they are lusting for something or they are sorrowful because they are not getting. When one is not in the modes of ignorance and passion, one is supposed to be situated in the mode of goodness in the material world. Goodness in the material world also at times becomes contaminated by touches of modes of passion and ignorance, because there is no pure goodness. Always there is mixture of the three modes. But in Vaikuntha Lok, it is unalloyed goodness only, and that is called Vishuddha Sattva. In the Padma Puran, in the Uttarakhanda, it is stated that beyond the 1/4 part of God's creation is the 3/4 manifestation, which is the Tripad Vibhuti, spiritual world. The marginal line between the material manifestation, Mahatattva, and the spiritual manifestation, the Paravyoma, is the Viraja river. At the margin of the spiritual and material world, there is a river called Viraja river. And beyond the Viraja river, which is a transcendental current flowing from the perspiration of the body of Mahavishnu, there is the 3/4 manifestation of God's creation, Tripad Vibhuti, beyond Viraja. This 3/4 part is eternal, everlasting, without deterioration, and it is unlimited, and it contains the highest perfectional stage of living conditions, which is Krishna Prem, which is devotion, bhakti. Only bhaktas exist there, only devotees exist there. Material time and spiritual time, Srila Prabhupada is writing. The conclusion may be drawn that because of the complete absence of the mundane qualities of ignorance and passion, there is no question of creation or annihilation. in the spiritual world. There is no question of creation, there is no question of annihilation. Because creation takes place in mode of passion, annihilation, destruction takes place in the mode of ignorance, and both are absent in the spiritual world. In the material world, everything is created, everything is maintained, and everything is later destroyed, annihilated. And the duration of life between the creation and annihilation is temporary. In the transcendental realm, in Vaikuntha, there is no creation and there is no destruction. And thus the duration of life is eternally unlimited. In other words, everything in the transcendental world and the spiritual world in Vaikuntha is everlasting. Everything is full of knowledge and everything is full of bliss without deterioration. It is Sat Chinananda Dham. Since there is no deterioration, there is no past, present, and future in the estimation of time. See, Srila Prabhupada is saying exactly what we learn in Jaiva Dharma, that in the spiritual world, there is no past, present, and future in the estimation of time as we understand it. It is clearly stated in this verse that the influence of Kal, time, is conspicuous by its absence. The whole material existence is manifested by actions and reactions of elements which make the influence of time prominent in the matter of past, present, future. In the material world, this influence of time is very prominent. There are no such actions and reactions of cause and effects in the spiritual world. So the cycle of birth, growth, existence, transformation, deterioration, and annihilation, these 6 material changes, birth, growth, maintenance, producing byproducts, deterioration, and death. These 6 material changes are not existent in the spiritual world. It is the unalloyed manifestation of the energy of Lord Krishna without illusion. The Lord is the chief leader there without any competition for leadership. And the people in general are all followers of the Lord. Everyone is a devotee and Krishna is the leader there in the spiritual world. It is confirmed in the Vedas, therefore, that the Lord is the chief leader and all living entities are subordinate to him. Krishna is Purush, Purushottam, and we are Prakriti. Whereas in the material world, we are all trying to be enjoyers. For only the Lord satisfies all the needs of all the living entities. Which verse is this? I have written there. It is confirmed in the Vedas, therefore, that the Lord is the chief leader and all other living entities are subordinate to him. For only the Lord satisfies all the needs of the living entities. So raise your hand and I'll be right back. I have to just quickly answer something. I was supposed to do something at 8 o'clock. So you raise your hand and wait. Okay. What verse is this? Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So anybody figured out what verse it is? Okay, let me show you again. It is confirmed in the Vedas, therefore, that the Lord is the chief leader and all living entities are subordinate to him. Only Krishna can satisfy the needs of all other entities. Very famous verse. Nobody knows? Sarojanandini Mataji? Krishna is the chief entity of all entities. Rishi Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisance to the Guru Srila Prabhupada. Nityo Nityanam Chaitanya
Yes.
Chetananam Ekonam Bahunam Vidhati Kamam.
Eko Bahunam Yogadhati Kamam. All the desires, kamna of all living entities, Krishna can fulfill. It is Karna Vedas, Shvetashvatara Upanishad. Lord is the chief leader of all other living entities. He is Nityo Nityan. He is the eternal of all eternals. Chetanas Chetananam. Of all the Chetan Jivas, he is the supreme entity. So it's exact 8 o'clock. Okay, we'll stop here. So this is the description of the spiritual world. This we should understand very scientifically. We'll start from text. We did till text 64 today. We'll start from 65 tomorrow. So this we have to understand very scientifically, that how the spiritual world is, how the material world is, how spiritual life is, how material life is. Okay. So next class that we have, today is Friday in India. I will be, Krishna willing, I will be back in Atlanta. So we will resume on normal schedule. My apologies that it was very irregular during Kartik because of my travels in Jagannath Puri and Vrindavan. But Krishna willing, we'll resume normal schedule next week. So thank you very much, dear devotees. I hope you all have very intensely Krishna conscious Bhishma Panchak. And if there are any questions, we can take. Yes, Ajay Govind Prabhu.
Prabhuji, no, not related to the text, but for the classes. So on Monday, we will have the Jab Dharma also, or just the Bhakti Vaibhava will be normal and you let me know about that. I can check later on also. That is okay.
Yeah, Prabhu, I will be landing at around 6 o'clock by the time I do immigration, and then come out, it will be 7, home 8. It will be very tight, Prabhuji, on Monday. So Monday, let's skip. Monday we'll skip. From Tuesday we'll start. Then Wednesday, instead of the Hindi Ambarish Charitra, we can have Jaiva Dharma. So next week we can have Tuesday, Thursday Bhakti Vaibhava, and Wednesday we can have Jaiva Dharma.
Okay, Prabhuji, as you suggest. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Rishi Prabhu, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I beg your pardon that in the previous Bhakti Vaibhava class, we did not complete text 8. We stopped at text 7. And then you were chastising us about copying from the exams. So we did not complete text 8.
We didn't complete text 8. Okay, very quickly, let's go to text 8. Very quickly. Text 8. Okay. Divyam sahasrabdamamogha darshano jita nilatma vijito bhayendriyaha atapyatasma khilaloka tapastapiyam stapatam samahitaha. Translation of the 8th verse. Lord Brahma underwent penances for 1,000 years by the calculation of the demigods. He heard this transcendental vibration from the sky, tapa, and he accepted it as divine. Thus he controlled his mind and senses, and the penances he executed were a great lesson for all the living entities, because he's Acharya. So he's teaching us. Thus he is known as the greatest of all ascetics. Lord Brahma heard the sound tapa. He did not see any person who spoke that sound. Still, he accepted it as instruction that was beneficial for him, and therefore he engaged himself in meditation for 1,000 celestial years. This is 6 multiplied by 30 multiplied by 12 multiplied by 1,000 earthly years, because one celestial year is 6. One celestial day is equal to 6 earthly months. One day, celestial day, is 6 earthly months. So one day is 6 months. So multiplied by 30, 12, and he did it for 1000 years. So multiplied by 1000. That's how much it was. So earthly years, Brahmaji performed tapasya. So many earthly years, Brahmaji performed tapasya. Srila Prabhupada has given this calculation. 1000 years, but 1000 celestial years. So therefore, and one day is 6 months. So that is the calculation. No difference between Krishna and Krishna's instruction. This is very important. Brahmaji accepted the sound was due to his pure vision of the absolute nature of the Lord. And due to his correct vision, he made no distinction between Krishna and Krishna's instruction. There is no difference between Krishna and the sound coming from Krishna, even though Krishna was not personally present. So Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, is Vangmaya Swarup of Krishna. It is a form of Krishna in a form of literature. And Krishna is available to us in the form of sound, Srila Prabhupada is saying. Therefore, Srimad Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita or any revealed scripture in the world is never to be accepted as an ordinary mundane sound without transcendental potency. There are two secrets of spiritual success. One has to receive the transcendental sound from the right source, accept it as reality, and execute the directions without hesitation. So one has to receive it from the right source, one has to accept it and implement it. That is the secret of success. The secret of success is to receive the sound from the right source of a bona fide spiritual master. Right source is Guru, Sadhu, Shastra. Mundane manufactured sound has no potency, and as such, seemingly transcendental sound received from an unauthorized person also has no potency. If one is able to receive the transcendental sound from bona fide spiritual master, his path of liberation is guaranteed. If one comes in a contact with a bona fide sadhu guru, then one's path of liberation is guaranteed. The disciple, however, must be ready to execute the order of the bona fide spiritual master, as Lord Brahma executed the instruction of his spiritual master. Who was the spiritual master of Lord Brahma? Krishna Haite Chaturmukha. It was Krishna himself. Following the order of the bona fide spiritual master is the only duty of the disciple. Chakshudana Dilojai, Janme Janme Prabhu says, spiritual master is the master birth after birth, and Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitete Koriya Aikya Arana Koriho Mane Asha. Nothing else. We have to only do what our Guru Maharaj has told us. Following the order of a bona fide spirit is the only duty of the disciple. And this completely faithful execution of the order of the bona fide spiritual master is the secret of success. What are the two secrets of success? One is to find a bona fide spiritual master, receive instructions from the spiritual master, and to execute those orders. Just by receiving orders, personal instructions, we are not going to make spiritual progress. By following those personal instructions, we will make spiritual progress. So this calculation, the 1000 celestial years at Brahmaji, I had figured out how this was. I'm not able to exactly remember. So one celestial day is 6 earthly months. So one day is 6 months. So therefore, one day is 30 into 6 because 1 month is 30 days. And then there are 12 years. So multiplied by 12, correct, now I got it. And it is for 1000 years that Brahmaji did, so multiplied by 1000. So this is the duration for which Brahmaji performed tapasya. 1000 celestial years. And by doing that, he got the power. So in this way, we went till slide number 64, and we will continue from slide number 65 next time. So any other questions?
Thank you, Rishi Babu, for correcting it. My apologies for tracking it incorrectly. I don't know why I did that, but somehow I remember that we covered it. So my bad.
No, even I don't remember exactly where we stopped. It's been such a long time.
I just checked the recording also, Prabhuji. I think we covered the last slide of the text 7 only. So 8th was missed. We should have done it.
Okay, no problem. So we did it now. Thanks to Rishi Prabhu's tapasya. Remembering. Okay. So thank you very much, dear devotees. Hare Krishna. And may you all receive blessings of Shri Vrindavan Dham and all our acharyas, and we'll see you next week. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanandi. Hari Hari Bol. Thank